I'm sorry. Listen, I was literally 5 minutes into. First of all, hey y'all. I was 5 minutes into doing the review for this episode, but then I kept getting interrupted because somebody was texting me, and I had to take some pause because it was throwing me off, and I didn't want to put the long pauses up in the video or whatever, so I had to redo this. I'm glad I was only 5 minutes in because I would have been mad. But anyway, let me put this on mute. Oh my God. Somebody. Anyway, this is College Hill, season one, Celebrity Addiction. What episode 6? May I displease the court? But listen, so let's get into it. Now, I will say this: Ray J is a fucking lot. Okay, Ray J is a lot, but his antics kind of make the show just a little bit, you know, a little bit. I'm not gonna put it all on him, okay? Because it gets too much to a certain extent. Like I said in the last review, it's okay to be the class clown, but bitch, it's a time and a goddamn place. And then when it comes time to, you know, oh, excuse me, actually doing the work, you gotta step the fuck up, okay? But baby, wait till we get to the end to that picture. Wait till we get to the end to that picture because a lot of people overlooked that. A lot of people overlooked that when that shit first came out. And I've always had an issue with it. But we'll get to it. But anyway, so the episode pick up where we left off. Ray J has left. Dream and India, I think they didn't see him when he left, and they didn't know that he had just left right away. And so Frida and Nene had to tell him or whatever. And so now they're getting ready to go to African American Studies, their core class for the whole semester or whatever this whole situation is going on. And so at this point, while they doing that, did y'all see how Slim Thug was? Oh, let me stop talking. I told him, I said I wasn't gonna call him Slim Thug. I was gonna call him Big Slim like they got him, because we have graduated. Slim Thug was when he was younger. He's a mature adult now. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna call him Big Slim, But Big Slim, he got ready for African American Studies looking like a teenager, bitch. He showed up he came downstairs with his khakis on, okay, with his white shirt on, probably was a little white polo, short sleeve, and he had his little burgundy jacket on that looked like one of the little prep schools jackets and shit. He literally looked like one of the little kids going to high school / middle school, just tall, okay? Slim looks really good for whatever age she is, okay? Slim has not changed a bit. And let me tell you something. I didn't know much about Slim. Like I can't say that I wasn't a fan. Let me say this. Okay. I know people, I kind of like people, or it's just that I don't have an issue with people. I'm not going to say I'm a fan because I think of like a fan, you support everything that they do, you always looking out for them or whatever, and that's not the case, okay? But I know of him because I grew up on him or whatever, but this show is making me like him because he's like one of the main ones that's actually taking this whole experience serious. Like, he is the most positive person on the show, the most I got to get it done. He doesn't complain or anything, so I'm really, really loving him on this show, and it makes me want to go back and revisit a lot of his stuff. Like, I cannot off the top of my head tell you a song from Slim Thug because I just can't remember Slim Thug, the rapper, but I can tell you about Check Up On It with Beyonce, all right? That was one of my favorite songs, a hidden little gem that people I don't feel like it get the right amount of credit that it deserves because both of them, H-Towns, they both did their thing on that song. They meld together so well. I need them to do another song together. I really do. But so I really liking him on here. You know what I'm saying? You would think that because he's the rapper of the group, that he would be the one that would be giving like the resistance and all that stuff. No, he's really taking this all in as if you know, he's learning. Like, he's taking it serious, and I like it. So they getting ready to go to African American Studies, you know what I'm saying? Because they're about to get ready for the final that they're about to have, and everybody gets out there except for Dream. And let me tell you something, Dream, you getting on my goddamn nerves this episode. You got on my goddamn nerves this episode. I let a certain part of it pass and slap for a second, but for the majority of this episode, you got on my goddamn nerves, all right? And I'm going to tell you goddamn why. This bitch, let me tell you something. She decided not to show up for African American Studies and said that she was sick. Okay? Everybody want to use the excuse that I'm sick, all right? And at the end of the day, if you don't want to show up to a college class, you don't have to show up to a college class, okay? Because you are an adult That is your responsibility. You do not have to call in like when you was in high school or grammar school and say my student, or I should say my have an adult call in and say that my child is not showing up today because of this or because of that. You're not gonna get marked down like that. But your grade is dependent on your attendance for the most part. So you do have to keep that in mind. You know what I'm saying? But when you're in college, if you just don't want to show up that day because you tired or whatever, bitch, you just don't have to show up. You don't have to give an excuse, okay? So let's understand that. Unless you sick or I mean, like, you got to miss a test or something like that because you got to go out of town, you got a death in the family, that's when you talk to the professor to arrange those things. Other than that, we ain't got to make up these dumbass excuses, okay? Telling the housemates that you're sick, and I think Nene was the one that called it out, the bitch ain't really sick, okay? She laying up in the bed, and then she gets up, she on the phone with her friend Kendra, talking about how she and her feelings about the fact that she got a B in this class from their last project. And I'm sitting here like, you know the fuck what? Y'all not gonna do me. Y'all are not going to do me. Everybody else is in class. Mind you, motherfuckers in there that had C pluses, C minuses, okay? And they still came to class because they still understand that they have an obligation to be there. You know what I'm saying? And they're taking it serious, and you are literally getting in your feelings and faking like you're sick and getting on your phone talking to your homegirl because you got a B on a project, not a C, not a D, not a E, not a F, not an incomplete, but a B. Wow. And I'm just sitting here like, well, when I was in college, well, maybe I had a different mind frame, okay? Because as long as I got an A or a B, baby, I was happy. I was happy because it felt like I was still on the right track. And if I had a B and if I really wanted an A, that just meant that, I just got to do a little bit more better on the next one. And it gives me the motivation to do a little bit more better. But baby, it came a point in time that I was okay with a C in certain classes because, baby, I just knew I didn't know that shit. But if I fucked around and got a C, I would be surprised. And it ain't trying to aim low or just not try to do that much. It's literally some classes was just a little bit harder than others, and I literally thought I was going to fail it. And then I fucked around and got a C plus in the bitch and then wound up getting a B minus or something like that. And it always used to shock me. It was like a couple of classes that did that in my college career. And so for her to be on here being in her feelings over a B, and it's like, what effort are you putting into it? What effort are you truly putting into it? Did you put all that you could? And I'm sitting here like, you up here doing all this shit over the fact that you got a B as if you got an F. Now, girl, if I see you got a D or whatever, I can understand that. Like, girl, I put a lot up in this, and this is what you do? This is what you give me? But no, girl, you got a fucking B. Suck that shit up. So now in the class, they're doing this poetry. So one of their final projects, I believe, is they have to make up a poem, and they're going to perform it at a little poetry cafe, spoken word, because, that has been a part of African culture, you know what I'm saying? And so they did listen to one particular person who got up there and he did his thing with his poem, and it was a powerful poem. It really was. It was very much, a good poem and very inspirational. Dream, after that, she winds up going over there and actually talking to the professor. And I feel as though these motherfuckers think, at least a few of these, certain people like her, she think because she probably got a little status or whatever, I guess do you consider her to be a celebrity or whatever? I say that because I feel like some people are faux celebrity, or maybe like not the celebrities of what I think a celebrity should be, okay? But I guess they got a little bit of status. But at the end of the day, it's almost as if she feels like she could get a pass on this and all this because she's been the main one, her and Ray, that's been throwing these little temper tantrums, okay? Because they can't get the things that they think they deserve. But you're not really putting forth that effort all the way to get that. And she gonna take her ass down there. You couldn't come to class because you were so-called sick. Gonna go to the professor and say, I was sick, but I still decided to come after the class was over with, to sit down and to cry to her, I want to go home. I just want to go home. Now, when she started crying, I actually thought something was wrong for a second. But then when she cleared that shit up and she said, because it's just that I just trying to understand. I just don't understand why you gave me a bean. Like, I just want to understand what that came from. Like, I was doing everything that I had to do. You know what I'm saying? But you just gave me this bean, and I just don't get it. Like, I put my all into it, and then you just give me this bean. I said, bitch. First of fucking all, let's be real. You're not about to use this shit for anything, okay? You're not about to use it for anything. We just have to be 100% honest. This is a little bit of an experiment, and you are literally getting your feelings over this, and you're going to take this issue to the teacher and make her try to make her feel bad about it. I felt like she did all of that so that she could try to get the lady to, Miss Professor, to change her grade. I would never do no shit like that. And if I had an issue and felt like, you know what, I put a lot of energy, I put a lot of time into this, I would go to the professor and I would just say, I know you gave me this grade, and I just want to know your thought process about it and what can I do to improve next time. Because I thought I was doing well, and maybe I missed something, and you can just, help me out with that so I can know what to look for next time. Not come up in there basically like, bitch, why the fuck you give me this B because I deserve better? What? I said, these people don't know how to talk to people. I said, oh my God. Miss Professor said, I don't care who these celebrities think they are. You being graded on the same criteria everybody else and you're not finna get special privileges or whatever. So the B is the B is a B. I said, what the fuck? Mind you, they had to do all this. Nene wasn't in class because Nene wasn't there. She was still in Atlanta. Ray wasn't there because he was supposed to be at home, fixing home life. And so they had to tell him about the assignment that was coming up. So Nene finally got there, and they were sitting down there talking. They told her about the poetry slam, and I love Nene and Frida's relationship. I'm actually liking the fact that Slim, he's cool with just about everybody in the house, and I'm loving. Oh my God, this what made me love him so much more, okay, or like him so much more, because after that episode where he had that conversation with Frida, trying to understand what her whole nouns, girl, not yet, what her pronouns are, what to call her, and being honest about the fact that he's this rap dude and he's just never been around somebody like her. You know what I'm saying? And he said it in such a I'm trying to learn type of way, and I'm not trying to offend, but I still feel like I want to be cool with you in a type of way. I love that. And he has no problem being around Frida and just talking with them or whatever. I fucking love him for that, because we don't see that happen too often these days, especially, unfortunately, in hip hop with hip hop dudes. You know what I'm saying? They're so fucking toxic, and they're toxic masculinity and all that. So masculinity. There you go, bitch. Get your words together. Get your words together. But anyway, y'all, I just had something that had an espresso, couple of espresso shots. So there it is. There it is. That's why the words getting stumbled, okay, bitch. I'm jittery. But anyway, and I haven't had caffeine in a long time. Like pure caffeine. Anyway, so she was talking about that, and they get into talking about, I think, Greg at one point, because she's trying to understand, what is it that I want to write about? Like, they got to do this poetry thing. And it's like, what I got to write about? And I'm sitting here like, Nene, you got a lot to write about. But she just want to know, is it okay to do this, or how far can she go? And I get, like, a lot of the people that had some apprehension about doing this slam poetry thing. I feel like the rappers in the house, like, or the entertainers in the house, the singers and the performers like Dream Doll, Slim, and Big Frida, even Ray, they would be okay with doing something like this, because y'all get up and y'all perform, and y'all write rhymes. Rhymes are forms of poetry. You know what I'm saying? It can be looked at as a form of poetry. You know what I'm saying? So, set to music. Um, and I thought that they would have it easier, but we saw that that really didn't happen for a couple of people, and I was like, Nene, just go ahead and speak from your heart. Everybody there has a story to tell, okay? Nobody has come from a rich place, no struggles or whatever. Everybody is going through something. Okay, so that was a good little sit down. I love the little off the the sit downs that they be having in the little groups or whatever. Then they go back to the law class. Okay, so now they're trying to practice for that. Nene found out about what she has to do for that. She missed one day. India was supposed to do the closing remarks for the closing statement for her group. Somebody else was supposed to do the opening statements. And baby, I cannot reiterate and say enough how I'm just so surprised at how much I am relating to India, because especially when it comes to this anxiety and this public speaking stuff. Oh my goodness, girl, I just felt like it was me sitting there, because when she said, oh my God, I gotta do the closing arguments, I just don't know. I can't get all of this in my head. I'm just trying to understand, and it's just she was overwhelming herself. She was overthinking herself. And I'm a big overthinker. I hate public speaking till this day. Till this day. I hate public speaking. And some people be like, why you don't go live and why you don't get on the panels and stuff like that? Because that is kind of like public speaking to me, and I don't have control of what I can say. Because at least when I'm doing this, I'm talking to the camera. I ain't got nobody else watching me as I'm talking in real time. You know what I'm saying? And then when I'm on a panel, it's like, sometimes I freeze up and I be like, oh my God, I hope I come off as, I be overthinking it, like, am I gonna come off the same way that I come off on my own videos, or am I gonna shrink back? And sometimes I just shrink back and I don't say anything, because that's just that anxiety. I overthink shit. Okay, so I have to get out of my own head. That's what India has to do. It got to the point where she had to talk to the professor. The professor was trying to understand what was going on, because at one point I think India had asked the other professor in the African American Studies class, you know, um, how big of a part of the grade is this doing this poem, because she was thinking about not doing it. Cause she was overwhelmed. You gotta speak in that class, and you gotta come and you gotta do this whole mock trial, and you gotta say a lot up in this one. So she was just a little bit overwhelmed, and you know, she was talking to the professor, and eventually she wound up switching and just saying, "I can't do this." But Nene took on the closing argument. And India is just gonna be a witness. Okay, so at least they was able to adjust it, and Nene didn't have an issue with it that much. She didn't make a big deal out of it. But I get it. I totally related to India, because baby, the stress of it all, when you have to get, if you don't, if especially if you introverted as fuck, and people look at you one way, and then they finally see you in person and see how you really are. And I mean, you are that person, but they see the other side of you, and you're like, oh my God, I didn't know that you was this closed off. I didn't know that you was this quiet. It's a lot. It's overwhelming. Okay, to think that you got to get up and you got to talk in front of people. It's just a lot. It's just a lot. So I totally understood her. India and Dream Doll and Slim was having a conversation with Slim about how come he don't get mad. It was like, what the fuck for? I like that. It was like, it's easy to get mad, but it's easier not to. Like, come on, just, I'm not trying to let stuff to get to me and stress me out like that. Baby, one particular part of this episode, Frida, you better than me. And I feel like you better than a lot of us. Because ain't no way in hell I would go after some man named Lamar goddamn Odom and clean his shit up. Without first of all, never. And if I had to, bitch, hazmat suit. Because that man is so goddamn nasty. So goddamn nasty. Okay? And she did that out the kindness of her heart, because she was tired of seeing that shit fucked up. I said, it just never would fucking be me. Meanwhile, Frida had to let Ray J know what's going on. Make sure he got his poetry stuff going on. Make sure he got his assignments down for the law class. Because regardless, you said you coming back. Don't fuck us over, okay? He worried about what everybody else gonna be doing. Frida was like, don't worry about that shit. Worry about what we gotta do in our group, okay? So they doing that. Meanwhile, it's time for the African American Studies slam poetry jam. Slam poetry jam. Baby, it felt like we was at the den on Moesha. Okay, and they go there for their little final so that they can give their poems. Okay, and Ray Cunningham from, I think it was Virginia State University. Remember that College Hill? He's one of the ones that kind of came out of College Hill. I mean, would you say he's successful? He's successful in his own right, but he's more so still like on the black reality circuit. You know what I'm saying? Undercover. Like, I don't know how I feel about him. When he was on the show, College Hill, I liked him, but then when he got off and I saw, some things that he did, it just didn't sit well with me. And then when he was on Love and Hip Hop, I didn't really like him. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how I feel about him. I really don't. But, it's neither here nor there. So they get there, he introduced everybody. India said, mind you, they got both professors there, the law professor and the African American Studies professor. I said, Miss Lawyer, Miss Professor Judge Walker, why you here? You just wanted to see some shit, huh? That's it. But India was like, oh my God, I really hope that they don't call me first. They don't call me first. And honestly, when it comes down to something like that, I want them to call me first. And listen, when we have to do presentations, and I remember this, whenever we had to do presentations in school, I would always volunteer to go first because I was so fucking nervous. And it's like to sit there and have to listen to everybody else, it'll wreck my brain so hard to wait for my turn to show up. And it just make me even more. I just wanted to get the fuck out, get it out of the way. So that part, I would volunteer to just go first and get that shit out of the way. You know what I'm saying? So I can just sit there for the rest of the class and breathe, okay, and get back to my center. So India saying that I hope I don't go first. Bitch, she was the first one to go first. So she did a poem about her younger self, and it was really good for what she needed to do, for somebody that doesn't do public speaking. She did better than I thought that she would do. She didn't stumble over anything. She went straight through it. The next person that did something was Nene. Nene did a poem about cancer. The way that, losing Greg and how she felt. And actually, Nene did a good job. Nene did a good job. It really was sounded like a spoken word slam poetry thing that she was doing for real, for real. Um, Slim got up there and everybody else was just talking, doing their thing. Slim wasn't nervous because Slim is a performer. Slim is a rapper. This is what Slim does. Next thing you know, I'm up in this shit, about to be that bitch. I'm about to do all this stuff and get these bags and make these hits. I said, hold up. What the fuck? Because these niggas don't know. I said, excuse me, bitch. Excuse me, sir. And when he first said that first curse word, baby, the professor was like, huh? I said, oh, you didn't say it couldn't be explicit, but you got to listen to the words that he was saying. And he said he was talking about, the fact that, what is he doing all this stuff for? Okay. I'm out here, just doing me or whatever. And I could be spending way more time with my kids, being a better father because he hasn't, he put his flaws out there. He realized that at a certain time he wasn't spending as much time with his kids. So I appreciated that. Lamar, he gets up there and he does a poem called Words Can't Explain R.I.P. Kobe, and it was just talking about his brotherhood that he has with Kobe. And I think in a recent blog post or whatever, he was saying how he see Kobe at night or Kobe comes to his dream. And that was it was sad. It was sad because at this point I think it's been like 2 years and I still can't believe that Kobe is gone. That I still cannot believe and wrap my mind around that. Frida gets up there and, you know, she does her poem about a lot of the things that's been going on in New Orleans, the violence and all of that stuff, and it was some real shit. It was some real shit. Now, when Dream Doll was supposed to go, they called her name, and this girl talked about, so let me go to the bathroom. I said, what? What is your problem, girl? Now, I understand India's, having that, reluctance and being scared or whatever, but For some reason, like with Dream Doll, at first I was thinking like, damn, she putting on because I just feel like she wants the attention and she just doing the fucking most. And I'm like, you a goddamn entertainer. You've probably performed in front of thousands or hundreds of people at a club or at an arena at a big jam or something like that. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole bunch of people and you are scared to get up here and to talk about write a poem or whatever, you know. And the whole thing is, I had to take it back because she did have a little anxiety attack. India had to go after her to make sure she was okay. She did get up there, and at one point she was about to start, but then she stopped and she went outside. And I was like, girl, you about to see, bitch, this the reason why you got a low grade. You got that B, bitch. But then I had to take a step back, and I had to think. Most likely it's because these entertainers, they probably feel comfortable up on the stage and they're performing in front of thousands, hundreds of people because it's something that they already did. They put it out there. People already heard the record or whatever. But then when they actually, even if it's a personal song, they have to perform it and it's 100 faces. But you can't really see all those faces when you're up there on that stage. You can't really see them all, or you could just focus on one particular thing. But when it's a small, intimate group setting like this, and you can feel and see every every facial expression, every person's face looking at you. Oh yeah, I can understand being nervous and having a little bit of shyness and all that stuff and feeling the way that Dream was, but I do feel like Dream did a little bit most. But at the same time, I kind of understand because she did get a little bit personal. She got real personal. She said, I get up there and I perform as Dream Doll, but I'm not about to perform as Dream Doll. I'm about to perform as Tabitha, her real name, and I don't know if I'm ready to show Tabitha and to talk about Tabitha. And so when she was able to finally get through, first of all, she did it as if she was about to do a verse. You know what I'm saying? Like she was actually making a rap verse. She had a little cadence to it and everything. And so it was deep. Talking about domestic violence, talking about being pregnant at 19, having an abortion, talking about having a strict mother, talking about a lot of shit that she had to go through growing up. And I appreciated it. But she pushed through, did what she had to do, even though I still feel like Dream was doing the fucking most this whole fucking episode. But that was that. Meanwhile, it was Ray J's turn. Ray J wasn't there. He was in the car. And so, I do the poem if I got to. I do the poem if I got to. Yeah, this part of your grade. Okay? And see, I appreciate the fact that they let him do it over the phone, over FaceTime, the way that he did. And he was talking about, being a deadbeat dad, or, it was like the state versus fathers or something like that. And it was about him, people perceiving him as a deadbeat dad. And I was like, wait a minute. At first I said, this is nice. But then I had to think and I said, who said that he was a deadbeat dad? Has anybody ever said that about Ray J? Every time I see Ray J, he's always with his kids at certain points or whatever. So I said, what? Where is that coming from? And it didn't click until I saw the preview for the next week's episode. The preview for the next week episode, baby, this motherfucker plagiarized that goddamn poem. Plagiarized the poem, right? I said, oh my God, Ray J, you are too old for this. You are in the music industry, okay? You are in an industry, business, and all that stuff where they deal with trademarks, they deal with copyright infringement. You get in trouble for shit like that if you don't clear it. And you gonna get your ass up on here. I don't care if it's not that serious. You plagiarized somebody else's work. What the fuck? You are too old for this. You should have just said, ma'am, I ain't got it. I would have liked you to say, roses are red, violets are blue. Shit, I'm over here sad and I don't know what to do. Okay, that's what you could have did, bitch. That's what you could have did. But you plagiarized the whole poem. Wow. Okay, talk about deadbeat. I said, since when was he a deadbeat? If there is, let me know something. Okay? Meanwhile, they getting ready for the next day for school. Okay? They trying to figure out what's going on with Ray, if he's showing up, what's happening, because they have yet to hear anything from him, and this is the day that they're supposed to do the trial. Okay, the mock trial in class. Frida is on her phone. She was trying to get in contact with him, and while she was trying to get in contact with him, that is when it popped up on the blogs. the picture of him at Mar-a-Lago or wherever the fuck it was, meeting up with Donald Trump with Kodak Black. And y'all all remember that shit, bitch, okay? I said, oh my goodness. Because if y'all did not know, there was another video, or a picture I should say, that was put out there when he was shaking the hands of Donald Trump, and it looked like they was in an official place or whatever, you know, and he said it was for business. He admired his business stuff or whatever. And I never understood that, because all the bankruptcies and shit that Donald Trump got under, he's not a good businessman. So I never understood that part and that reasoning about it. And then this video came out with Kodak. He was introducing Kodak Black to Donald Trump, because you know Kodak Black is a fangirl of Donald Trump, because Donald Trump got him out of jail, or reduced his sentence and got him out. You know what I'm saying? And so, that's what he was doing with a lot of people, but he took that to heart, and so now he's a fucking fan. Okay, and I just felt some way. I feel like people kind of let that shit slide because they like Ray J, and Ray J goofy as fuck. But it just goes to show that there are probably a lot more, especially black celebrities out here that we actually like, who actually probably voted for Trump and are pure fans of Trump. And we have to also remember that prior to us knowing who the fuck Trump was in this presidential election type of shit way that we know him now, it was a lot of people that actually liked Trump. Black, white, Latino, Asians, everything, prior to knowing what he was. He had a lot of people and a lot of so-called fans and associates that was always with him, okay, back in the day. Trump was one of the ones that, we mentioned in songs and stuff like that. But then that image turned when we saw how he was now when he was running for the president. You know what I'm saying? So, wow. I'm not surprised at this point. I'm not surprised. So if it ever comes out that some more black celebrities probably, voted for him, just be prepared. That's all I can say. Just be prepared. But anyway, you guys tell me how y'all feel about it. This was another good episode. I can't wait to see also next week's episode, to see Lamar in his element of playing basketball and helping coach the basketball team. That was really nice. But yeah, you guys tell me how y'all feel, and I will see you guys later.